Hello everybody, today we had a challenge. One of my friends decided that he wants to learn a little bit of PHP programming and we have already set up an environment on a software called MAMP, and basically it's really easy to set up this MAMP, Mammoth or whatever it's called, and it has two basic needs for you to actually start making your own projects, which is basically Apache web server and MySQL database server. Now, before we start even this lesson, I want to share what these two are before we even start. So basically Apache server means Apache web server, which basically means that whatever a user types in let's say this is redirected to the machine itself. So basically localhost means that don't look at somewhere on the internet, look within this machine using a port 81, which basically in my case in this computer decided to use the port 81 as a free port, and then it automatically uses the MAMP Apache server, which basically is telling the browser itself to look within itself, within this computer itself, to look at these two folders. The folder is called study and the file name is called course PHP. So basically what now the system is doing, the Apache server is doing, it's using this file and rendering it and outputting it to the browser. So basically, in simple words, Apache server means web, like a in simple words, just web interface server. So it uses the PHP code or Python codes or whatever you have, whatever language you have, and then renders it for users from internet that would want to access your files that you won't have. So basically in Apache server you configure which domain name, which subdomain name stands in which folder, you know, some kind of user sessions and everything you configure there, or HTTPS certificates you config there, and everything is done through Apache server. And what is MySQL server? MySQL server means basically somewhere where in a usable way information is stored. So in this tutorial we're not using it. Thinking and imagining that you are complete beginners, we'll get to it a little bit later. But in simple words, it means where users store their comments, their images, their names and surnames and emails, and when they have signed up and everything, it's all stored in the MySQL server. And MySQL server isn't the only database server that is out there, but I think it's commonly used. So R is so far so good, everything is understood?
Yes, so far I understood everything.
Alright, so now we will get into it and just start typing our first codes. Now I'm using a Sublime text editor. I'll be editing it and showing you a couple of codes and you know, just commenting out what are we doing here. So what we are doing right now, we have this link where this file is stored, we have the edit, and we have these I don't know how they call it, but it's
what is this?
Yeah, it's well, basically this tag is telling the Apache server or the renderer itself that after this tag there will be a PHP code, the programming language code of PHP, and after it can be whatever, and before it can also be whatever before. So now I'm clicking Control and Save, and you can see now there's a cross appeared, and then when we refresh the page we will see whatever before, then we see Vasya, ciao, and whatever. So what did just happen here? We inputted some basic text and some basic text afterwards, and then we used PHP programming to do some stuff, and then we used this echo function to print out or to show out another text. And basically what do we see here It's just text in line, without any new lines, without anything else, just a clean text in line. Now, the browser uses HTML language. Have you ever tried to write some tags?
Never.
Aris?
Oh, never.
Okay.
I have never been doing coding.
Okay, so yeah, so this will be a little bit complicated than in the beginning. So I'll try to simplify a little bit, because I want to teach the first tag, which is BR, which means basically break. Whatever next line. I'll click Control S, and you can see that the next text appeared on the next line.
Okay.
Yeah, so in simple words, if we use different tags, which basically means headline 2, which means you can also use headline 1 and headline 2. Now I'll explain, imagining you that you are a complete beginner. The tag starts, all tags start, I will zoom in a little bit, all tags start with such a line, and then the first thing is the tag name, and many times you will see something like div, like deviation or something, and tag closes also the same. This means the tag closes, and whatever is inside is thought to be within the tag. So basically, inside the div tag So far you understood, right?
So far, yeah.
Okay, so
can you now print it, like not print it, but to put it on the web page? So
yeah. So I'll print it, but right now here is h1 tag, and this is what is inside the h1 tag, and the h1 tag closes right here. It's really simple. Now, some web browsers already have built-in default designs for each tag. So this browser definitely has an h1 design already inside. So these are like a common and already like defined rules that browsers have. But normally you can write your own tag. Let's say kids. It can be your own tag. It can be your own. It can be your own tag, but the browser would not recognize this tag, and it will not do anything with it. But you can then change the designs by writing another code inside. But will be really simple at this lesson. So in simple words, headline 1 was recognized by the browser, and it understood that this is the main title of the web page. So h1 means headline 1. And this is something inside the div, and this is whatever next line. So in our code, it looks it looks like this. So h1 deviation, div tag, new line, and whatever next line. So I think this is completely understood, right?
And if you would delete this break in 5th row, how then it would look like?
Then it will be without break. I reckon the text will appear instantly right here, but let's see. Yeah, okay, so it appeared there.
Yeah.
So so this is not the actual programming, this is just design templating. So the more you know CSS language, HTML language, the more you can build your own designs. So these tags, and these are basically used to just template and design your website's layouts where everything is standing. And these tags and this can get really complex. So this is it's not that easy to do it. So, but as far as just PHP coding, which is the most interesting thing, I believe, we will write it the same. We will write actually complete the same output that is written right here, only in let's say in a programming language. Then we write. Then we will start writing this just says that whatever is next within this I don't know, this is I don't know, arrow left and arrow
Between
right,
these rows, yeah.
or angle left, angle right, and then there's a question mark and there's a question mark ending. This, within this would be a PHP code. The system will recognize it. Now, normally these codes can be really long, like 10,000, hundreds of lines, whatever is inside, and the system renders it really fastly. But there are many functions. There are many functions within the PHP language, and these are inside the system already known. But we can also write our own functions. Now I will get to those functions a little bit later. But function echo means output. So if we were to echo this text right here, let's close it a little bit. So to these I know angled lines, I don't know how to call it, slash lines, means that comment out this line completely. So normally what we will see that this line disappears right now. So normally people just write comments or comment out a specific code line. Let's say I want to leave a comment so I remember what this function does. It's just a simple printout. And when I now save it, this file, you will see exactly the same as we saw before, but only now it's done through, let's call it a programming language with a function called echo. So far so good. So now you understand everything, or
yes.
So then we will just copy these values inside the PHP language, and we can easily do it in 2 lines, or as I sometimes like to do it in 3 different functions, just because it's then more easier for me to distinct with visual eyesight which code is what. So I remember how it looks like, and then when I edit long codes, it's easy for me to understand. Let's call it just print out hello texts. I will hello dear God. I will just call it this is an automated praying script. Let's pray. Okay, so to make it more funnier in these tutorials. Okay, so far so good. Everything is fine, everything is happening, no errors have happened. Just because I'm used to programming, and I will now, this is a really simple code, but I will now explain. Echo can also start with single quotes, and you can write something in there. A function always ends with these semicolon, or what's it called?
Semicolon.
Yeah. So I will save it right now, refresh the web page. You will see this text which I wrote on top, because it is on the top of the script. Script renders from the top to down. Many times developers make logical placement errors. Let's say they mixed in order something and it doesn't work as they planned, and then they I need to put this function down here, for example. This is not the case where it could cause problem, but many times it causes problem, and I will show you a little bit later why. So if you make a grammar mistake, let's say you forgot this how is it called? I don't know. This quote, single quote. Normal editors will somehow print out you. Let's say you see the color has changed to yellow. It means the renderer, the Sublime Text in this case, thinks that the single quote has not yet finished. So everything within inside is plain text right now. So when you started with a single quote, you need to finish also with a single quote, and everything what is inside will be echoed out. So this is the most important thing which you need to learn also, that if you make something like this, grammar mistake you forgot to written, I believe the page will just die. You will not see anything. And sometimes it's really frustrating that you don't see any errors. You're like, what the hell is going on? The page is blank, but you have written code to echo, but the page doesn't do anything. And then you need to, and especially in the beginning, you need to tell the PHP renderer to print out errors. What was it called? Error reporting. I think it was all. Let's see whether it helps. No, it doesn't help. Then it was in set. I need to check it online. Wait. Yeah. Okay. So I checked the code online, the function online, because sometimes I forgot, and especially this is the functions which I always forgot. So what we are now telling the script is to print out all errors. So these are basically for the renderer itself to display out errors. So when the script starts, the system, okay, we need to display errors, display startup errors, okay, we need to display all errors. These are just 3 functions. Basically, we change the setup of the PHP renderer, and then we set up for the errors to start. So to start showing. So basically, if you are using a product version of your website, you need to comment out these functions. But as a beginner, where you are learning, when you are practicing, you will save a lot of times, and you need to understand these errors, because you will see errors and you will have errors constantly. Now, consciously, I've written here an error, like I showed before. This is a conscious error I made just to show, but sometimes, but sometimes the systems do not print out errors. And I'll show you what you can do right now, because sometimes they don't work. There's like a fatal complete error, and they don't show out errors on the browser. But let's see. Okay, it didn't show, but maybe I didn't save yet. No, I saved yet. So then I do simply, I just copy all the text, and then just Google for PHP mistake Chatsker online, and alright, syntax for common mistakes. And this is a really nice practice, but I would not recommend to do it. But as a beginner, you can see on the left side, the browser is telling us that we have a error on line 8, and this is the error code. Well, then you know on which line you have an error right now. Then you know it. So it's easy. Okay, we have to go on line 8, and then I will open it back right now. And here we made a conscious error, a special error which I made, and then okay, it started with a quote and it didn't end with a quote, so I put the quote where I forgot to write it, or it was just a mistake. And the same applies to errors, like you forgot to put semicolon on the end. Now I save it, and it still doesn't show any errors. But by doing this, like on the website, on Google you just type check PHP common mistakes, and you'll copy this code inside, and it will show you these errors. Okay. So, do you understand everything so far? So
far, so good.
So far, so good. Now, let's start doing something actual. Now, let's start with variables. Let's take out this let's pray part. And variables are really commonly used. What is a variable? A variable starts with a $sign, and it can be anything you write right now. It's my name, and this variable, the system will recognize this variable that is equal to whatever you set here. Now keep in mind that a string basically a string is a text. For example, it can be a mat, and as in briedis, for example. Now, everything that you write in double quotes or single quotes, system instantly recognizes that this variable is a text. Age. Then you can save age as a number or age as a text. Understood?
Mm-hmm.
But luckily,
yeah,
but luckily, PHP can calculate this automatically. For example, you would want to age equals age plus 2. The system will automatically understand that this is a number, not a text. Yeah. You cannot do like this if you want to do mathematics on the system, because this is not a number. I reckon it will print. I think it will print out mat briedis and just 2 at the end. Now, for example, we set up 2 variables, right?
Yes.
And now the system keeps in memory those 2 variables. So basically, you can write them by yourself if you wish, but it's more easier to use them later afterwards. Now, then we would want to, let's say, print out the same break, the tag break, which is the new line tag, and then we will want to write out our new age is age. So the echo function also renders the text inside and sees whether there are no variables with the $sign in front. If there are variables, that it will print out not the exact text what it's here, but the age which we have defined earlier, and then we have defined age to be a mathematical function like my name plus 2, which basically I'm just curious what it will print out right now. Then we just save it. Our new age is 2. Alright. Like, here's the first error which we encountered. A non-numeric value encountered in the... you don't see the next thing right here because I don't record the screen that far. But it's telling on which line also as well. It's telling us on line 17. The error was telling us on line 17. So, and this is what I told, that you cannot do mathematical equations or functions with strings. This is called, text is basically called a string in any programming language. So if we, I showed this just to show you that this is an error, but let's just comment out this, so it's not used anymore, and you'll see no error applied, and our new age is 26. So
but, what if, for example, you write in 15th rows age equals 26, in 17th like age equals 28, and then output this? Will it output these both numbers or only first one? Like
this, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It will. The variable will be. It will be instantly rewritten. So you write the variable to be 26, then you write the variable again to be age plus 2. And then you write variable to be age equals just 27. So everything, it's rewritten. It's you just rewritten it 3 times. So you can just delete this code right here because it's just it's just.
It will take only the last one.
You define it from the beginning. So you define it as you have defined it again to be 27. So there's no point actually having this variable to be prior. And this is also another thing which you need to keep in mind. In some codes you will have like 20, 30 or maybe 100 variables, and you need to write unique variables because you can accidentally rewrite this variable. For example, you know, maybe it's some 20 lines or 100 lines lower. You forgot that you already have set this variable, and then you write it again, and you know you've written the variable prior, and it can cause errors or everything in your code. So you need to also write unique variables, as unique as you can for each thing you make. So again, so let's save it. So our new age now is 27, but let's see. Now let's see what PHP will do, because this again, variable is saved in double quotes. It can be also single quotes, but it's recognized now as a word or as a string. So let's see. Will PHP understand that this is a number, not a string? Let's see. I'm just curious. It understood that it's a number. So it's 28. But some programming languages like jQuery or JavaScript, you need to set it as a number. You can do it like this, without the double quotes or single quotes. So there are some benefits on PHP language that other programming languages don't have. So what did we written right here is that we written our age to be 26, and then we have added 2 more years to the variable age, and then we print out the age. Now I will now tell you the difference between double quotes and single quotes, and you can just see for yourself the changes, the differences. And double quotes render the text that you have written inside. Single quotes do not render, they just output exact symbol to symbol what is written there. So it doesn't understand that it's a variable, it's just a dollar sign and with age. So so this is also a thing that you need to remember, and you can use it and change it from time to time. So in this case we want to print out the age, but in some places we don't need to, or we especially don't need to understand the system that there's some variables or functions within inside. So far so good, everything is understood.
But if you would take off these double quotes from this line, what then will be the output from this line? Yeah, these double quotes.
You just like this, you mean?
Yeah.
Fatal error. Because it recognized new as a function, age as a function, is also a function, but it will be an error, and you don't see anything.
Yeah, okay.
So it's this is a fatal mistake. So not good. So, but there's another thing. What you can do is you can. I never tried this. Let's see whether it works. Yeah, it works. What's written right here, dot is also used in many languages as a like an operator, or how other people call it. I don't know, but you just extend echo, the string, and just extend, and then variable, and only then you finish this function with a semicolon. And you can also continue extending it with again two quotes. This is years, and let's just write it years. So, and you can also extend, and my name is let's write a new line, my name, and space over here also. And my name is Matt Briedis in this case. So it just extends. It just extends. Okay, so this is just a simple overview how you output some data for users to see it, or for web browser to see it, or for yourself to see or debug something if you want to debug. Now we can start making, I will show you some examples. Some of the most common functions, I would say most common function, which is if.
Oh yeah.
And always write end of if, because later if you have 20 of these curly brackets, everything will be messed up and you'll not understand which was the ending and closing on which if statement. So if age is greater than 25, then we will say it echo in a new line, hey guy, hey boy, you're more than 25 years. Else, if not greater. So basically what we are telling right now here is, and also PHP will now understand that this is a number. What we are telling, if this number right here, which is the variable, is greater than 25, then if it matches our statement, let's say, or rule, then do what is inside these curly brackets.
Okay.
And the opposite, if not, then do what is inside here. But just do, sometimes I do it, I like to do it another statement, age is smaller than 25. So just to have a clearer understanding, because sometimes the else and then else again and else again on if statements, they mess up my head. So just to have a clearer understanding, sometimes I do it like this, just write two ifs. So, but you keep in mind that is greater, so it doesn't mean age is greater, so the system understands that is greater but not equals to. So if you want to be greater and equal to 25, then you write it like this.
Okay.
Yeah, but if we write age greater equals to 25 and then again age smaller and equals to 25, both of them will be executed. For example, if our age were to be 25, let's say I will show you. This is the state. This is our age, and this is the two if statements. Echo. Hey boy, you're too young. Save it, and you see it print out both of these statements. Hey boy, you're more than 25 years. Hey boy, you're too young, right? Just because we have written to be greater and equals to. For example, if we were to have 25.1, only the first one. If it were to be 25, let's say, only the second one. And the same applies to like 10. The same, I refreshed the page already, and it's completely the same as the second statement right here. Of course, you can write also else. It will be if it's not matched, then do this function right here. So far so good. Everything is understood.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, now I will ask you a question. What would you want to see? What you want to learn? Or we can start with the automated pray God function.
I think I want to know what are the basic functions, like what are these basic points that we need to go through to understand, like, so we can later build this website by the blocks or somehow.
Well, definitely you need to learn the HTML language if you want to make any website. So the most simplest case is that you download some simple HTML templates and start editing something there. But okay, I understand the question. Let's do some simple website programming. You will definitely like this. Okay. So let's leave everything as it is right here. Just let's delete these if statements. We don't need this again anymore, but we will write get variables So these are small functions, but anyway, let's make the automated praying script. This is the thing which I have had joy at the moment to do. So number equals get number. So far so good.
Number is a function, or we just
no, it's just a variable. This is, I just call it, it can be
it can be anything.
pray times.
Okay.
Yeah. So and we will leave it here as a number. And let's say we just echo break number of praise times. So far so good. You
Yes.
don't, you should, but now you could not understand what does this mean.
Yeah, approximately I think I know it.
Maybe you know it, maybe you don't, but it's something new by far in these 35 minutes. But let's see whether the system will output an error, because it should have an error if you just refresh the page, and we have an error. Unidentified index NR in our line, and you don't see it right here, it's on line 17. So what the system is telling us, that this number is not defined. Now, get means that the PHP script looks at our link, and whether we see there a variable that's defined as number. And when we look at our link, we don't see anything related to numbers, and that's why you see in many websites this question mark and then number equals to 10, for example. And then it understands number of praise 10. So far so good, understood everything.
Yeah.
So how you do it, you write question mark, then the variable name, and then the value of it, 10. And if you want to add more variables, you write and mark, and let's say text, the pray equals please make Bitcoin reach 20,000 USDT value. So far understood, right?
Yes.
So now we have written in our variables number equals 10, prayer equals, and the website automatically fills these empty spaces with percent and 20, these what are they called actually? It's just a symbol that the browser understands, because links cannot have equal signs, links cannot have space signs, links cannot have these dollar signs in the variable. So then people use the function to decode into a completely link understandable format, and then decode it. So the browser did it right now automatically. So this variable was called prayer, and pray text equals get pray. Sorry, and we need to also output the and pray is pray text. Okay. Right. And the pray is pray text reach value. And we need to write it. Oh, sorry. Please. And then we open the link. Please. Right. And now there are two things. First of all, I will just copy the link. There are two things. If no variables are posted, it will output errors, and we don't like errors because errors are also logged in our Apache error logs, and that's not good. It uses additional space, it uses additional this writings for the HD drive. So what we can do is we write a function again, and we will move these two variables inside the function, and we will tell if, and this is another function, is set get nr, and a new operator, and it means also is set get, oh sorry, pray. So what we are telling, if this variable nr from the link is set and also the pray is set, then do this. Else, in this case, if none of them are set or one of these are not set, then we tell the script to die. Die is one of the most common functions actually. It's also a common function. And we will tell a new tag with font color equals red. Hey boy, fill in info. So far so good, you understand, or some?
It's getting complicated, yeah. But
this is not complicated. This is completely not complicated. I will go through it. Right?
Is that function? Why we need this?
Wait. Let's go through it. So this is set function.
Why can't we leave just if get number and get pray?
Then we will get the same error, because the system already we already know that this get number doesn't exist. We have not write it, so we will have the same error only in the line 17 at this point. But the isSet function is something different. It just checks whether it exists, and the system then understands that if it doesn't exist, it's okay, and if it exists, then will the statement fill out here. And means, and also this variable also needs to be set. It also needs to be set.
So if both conditions is met, then it will output this, yeah?
Yeah, it will put these two variables as the get number and the get pray in the text. Then it will put these two variables. So, but what I did in this script is that if none of these conditions or one of these conditions is not met, then we will do the function will automatically execute the else statement.
Yeah.
And in the else statement, I've written that echo a tag called font. Then I've written in the tag that everything that is in the tag should be in color red. And then we will output the text right here in a red color. Let's just make it also in a new line. And die means stop executing this script, which means nothing which is afterwards will be executed anymore. The script will just stop here, and that's it, we're done. So this is really common if you want to make some security issues, that if something is not met, like user didn't input a password, or user is using now a different IP address, just stop executing output. Hey boy, you're trying to hack something, and just kill the scripts to stop doing anything later on. So now let's refresh. Hey boy, fill in the info. No, but at this point user doesn't know what the user needs to fill in. Wait. So I will just write it myself, and number equals 10, and yeah. And then when both of these conditions are met, then it outputs these two variables. But this script right here is a little bit complicated, because these two echoes are somewhere lower. Just to be more understandable, let's put them together. Now to make it easier for you to understand, I will disable this, I will delete this just so the code is not too complicated.
Okay.
Or nah, I will delete it. Okay.
You can just comment out. So
it will get for eyes complicated. So in this case, if both of these statements are met, we output something, and for example, I will delete only the number, and it will not output anything because we have no else statement anymore, or we have no telling that something is not some information is not given, so it's not doing anything at this moment. So then again, I'll write nr equals 10, and just open the page, and here we go. All right, so now we will do a while loop. So pray times, okay, while so is set if while, so later on it doesn't cause any complications to understand which is what. And then let's write just a count equals 0. How many times we have looped. And then while count is smaller or equals to pray times. Pray times is how many prays we want to give. Count is how many times we have already did the while loop, or how many times we have already prayed. And we will do count equals count plus 1. So I'll try to explain as simple as I can. So basically what we are doing right now is we are setting a while function. It's basically a loop function. What it will do, it will loop while this condition is met, while this condition is true, you must say. And this condition is while this variable, which is set, we have set it to be as 0, is smaller or equals to variable which is pray times, which is basically received from the link that we have written right here. So in this case, while 0 is smaller than 10, repeat everything what is inside the curly brackets. And there is only one thing right now inside the curly brackets, which is count equals the same count plus 1. So we add 1 to the variable count. The next loop will start. Count will be instantly 1, smaller or equals to pray times. Then another time will be 2, another time will be 3, 4, 5, and until 10 times are filled. And then if this rule is not true anymore, the loop will just stop and not do anything. So far so good, you understood?
Yes, so when it will come to the 10th times, then it will stop.
Yeah, that's right.
Prayer.
HR means, its a tag means basically a horizontal line. So I will just, I'll just put it so we see where the while loop actually starts. And we will just output new line and count, just for you to see. Ta-da! Sorry, the browser is out of the screen. I will then output not a new line, I will output comma. Ta-da!
Okay.
So we put the comma in front of the number. I think more logical would be if we put it at the end. Right.
Yes.
0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. So, and if we now write in the link, let's say 100 times, you see how fast the script actually loads, and we can write it like 1,000 times.
So much praise.
Yeah, and then we do it like 10,000 times. You see how fast it loads. The while loop is not actually causing any load, but at one point the HTML page would be maybe megabyte heavy, maybe 2 megabytes heavy. Let's give it like 1,000,000 times. Oh, now it loads for 2. You don't see the loading on the top. So I hope my browser will not die. Anyway, I will stop it and change it to the same 10. Maybe everything is hanged. All right, so
still, we need to put some limits on this number so it doesn't freeze.
Yeah, so it died. So let's put limits. Pray times. If pray times greater than let's say 1,000, pray times equals 1,000. So this is a really simple if statement that if the user has inputted more the pray times to be greater than 1,000, then reduce it to 1,000. Understood?
Yeah, it's more logical than to die.
Yeah, these are just browser limits, but there are also other limits, like a user, for example, can input text inside the number, or not is numeric, get an R, or in this case it's break times. So what this also is telling us if pray times is greater than 1,000, these two lines mean or. So and is different. It means if both of them are true, and this means if one of them is true. So
okay.
if it's greater than 1,000, or this function checks whether pray times is not a number. In this case, in this case would mean this statement will be true if this is a number. The exclamation mark means if this statement is not true.
Okay.
So because we know that this is a number, this statement right here will be true. The function will return that, yeah, this is a number.
Yeah, okay, understood.
If it's not true, then we write exclamation mark in the front. The same as we can write it if pray time is not equals to 1,000 or equals to 1,000. They write double equals in if statements, so don't get complicated. And if 3 equals, that it means it's not only equals to what's written there, but it's also equals as a number or a string or the type what's given. So, but in our case, we would just need it to understand that it's just greater than 1,000, or if pray times is not a number. This means not a number. In this case, this function is just checking whether this information that's put inside here, in this case it's a variable, that it's not a number. So
if it's not a number, then we need to do something else, right? Not pray times 1,000, but 0.
Yeah, we can do it like this, but then I think we need to then put it in a different if statement, because if it's 1,000, or if the user has inputted more than 1,000, then we limit it to 1,000. But if the user has not is numeric pray times, I mean, if he has not inputted, let's say, a number there, we can echo out an error. Pray times equals 0. Echo break new line. I'll write it in a new line just to make it simple. Then we can also print out an error, like the font color equals red. Wrong. Pray. Wrong. Like wrong number given. So as you can see right now, the code gets more and more complicated. and you know, all programmers need to learn their they need to write the code as simple as they can. Just because maybe after a year you need to edit this code and you have completely forgotten what you have written down there, you need to write it as simple as you can. Reduce everything as simple as you can, and there are like things that you can reduce. You can change this H line to be here, and then you can reduce one line. You can actually reduce 2 more lines, you know, and you can here 2 spaces you can reduce to 1, and maybe a little separate them out, these functions. Just it's more easier for your eye to understand, or you maybe want to comment each line which you have written there, you understand? If limit is reached, if it is not a number.
But
Right.
these empty spaces between lines, they don't affect the speed of
No, but for example, many people do on CSS templates. We have not written any CSS template, design template. They like to do that. They strip out any new lines, any spaces, or any commas, just because the browser then loads a little bit faster, because you know they can reduce maybe some kilobytes. But this all code here is done into the server's memory, into the computer's memory, so it's completely fast. It doesn't need to download anything. It doesn't need to send anything there. But if you send something to a browser, like this information echo is sent to a browser, then you maybe need to think out that maybe if you write you know, long tags and everything, and maybe you need to think out that you could reduce actually spaces to make the website load a little bit faster, just to download a little bit faster, so it has a little bit less kilobytes. The file is a little bit smaller than it should be. But in our times, I don't think it's especially for such a script as small, it's actually no problem. It's completely no problem to even worry about speeds at this moment. So now where are we in this moment? We are in we set the limit, and we checked whether this is or this isn't a number. So if it's not a number, we set it to be as 0, but still the loop will execute because we are telling it to be smaller and greater than 0 right here.
Yes.
So what we can basically do is set it to be -1. So just not for the loop to execute even one time. So, and the next problem is my browser crashed down, and I need to restore the link. One moment. So I open the browser, I write in number equals 10. Oh, it's already here, but I don't want it to be too long, and pray OK. And everything is fine, but then we've written down that wait. So now we will check whether the number statement actually does work. Let's write it 100,000, and it reduces to 1,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's write some word inside. Wrong number given. Number of praise -1. That's what
He owes one. He owes one.
Yeah. So, so yes. Let's say 10. Okay, so we have zero prayers, but we still have written 0 here, so that's silly. Then we can do it. We can just set it to be as 1. Okay, so now let's write the actual prayer itself and loop it 10 times. So the prayer itself was
Very nice, I think. Very good.
Prayer right here. We already defined the text right here. I like the variables when each code is set to be defined in one place, so I don't need to search where are there and then do some preparations like checkings, and then only then do the actual functions. So first of all, set all variables, then you know, check if everything, if it's necessary to to check them, you know, maybe something like in this case limits, or if they are correctly set up, or you know, and then there this text, which I multiplied it into 3 lines, so I will show it back again. So this is the number of prayers, this is the variable which we have checked before, and prayer is, and the prayer is, and this is the text the user has inputted, right, through the URL. And then we are doing the actual function itself, the actual praying itself, and this is the if statement which we have set up earlier before. So now what I told you is that the more commented for yourself you make, the more easier you'll be understand what was it and what does this curly bracket actually here means. Now what you can do, you just write these comments on each bracket where you make, and then you separate it, for example, with the button tab button, and then you go upwards and you see, oh, okay, this belongs to this if statement. So you make the code as more easy to read for yourself as you can, and do it as simple, as easy as you can, so it's completely easy for you to recognize. Because when a code gets into 10,000 lines or 2,000 lines or 1,000 lines, it can get really nastily complicated. And there are a couple of things that help to make programming read and write more easier, but I will not talk about it in this video. We are about to finish this lesson with the actual pray itself. Now in this case it will be really simple. We just change the variable to pray text, and then after the text we just write new line, right? And then I save it, and then I refresh it. Refresh it, and the button doesn't work. So not the button doesn't work, we have 0 prayers written, so let's change it to 10. Okay, we have 10 prayers, right?
Yes.
So now what I wanted to do is we need to input date, in which date this prayer was given, and this is also a function that is really often used. Now date is we set the variable to date inside this loop, date, and this is the date format which we will give, and seconds. So this is just the format. The function will return this variable to be equal with a date that is formatted with a year, then a line month, then line day, and then hours, and E stands for minutes, because month also is M, so that's why I think they use I, and S stands for seconds. But you can also, I think you can do it like this also. I'm not sure, but let's try it later, but we'll leave it as this. And then we save it, but let's print out this date also in the beginning, and then let's print date like this in I don't know, sharp brackets, or how we call it.
Square brackets.
Square brackets, right?
That's clear.
And as you can see, all this script was executed in the same second. You know, it didn't even took a second to last. Even with all the date function, it didn't take even a second to last. And this is our prayer right here. And so what we will do, we will make this prayer every second.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, can we put some delay?
Yeah. So it's sleep. It's sleep function. It stands for seconds, and there's another function. Then it's like 1 million is equals to 1 second. It's like in micro time.
Mm-hmm.
Or it was 100,000 equals to 1 second. I think it was 1 million equals to 1 second. But we will use sleep for 1 second right here, and then you will see the website will load in 10 seconds, like 1, 2. You can count, and you don't see it on the top. I have already refreshed the page, but you can see my browser loading, and now it's finished. And you now see it that every second a prayer has been made. Yeah, so this is how the while loop works. And at the end, I will just write some design. Just to see, I will show you how normally I program, how I type at the ending of this video, and then on the next series I think you will be the one that starts typing and I will tell you what to type.
Okay.
So I will just write some values here. Sorry, I will write them in new lines, so because you don't see them. And we will have some design. We need to wait for the damn seconds. I will just uncomment this out by now.
What was the clock time? 6 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah, 6 in the evening. So I write the design just a border and a little bit separated from the side, just to make it look better. And I want it to have and it should be nicely formatted, right, like in a box.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we have now prayed 10 times for the Bitcoin price. We're not telling price, we're telling please make Bitcoin reach 20,000 USDT. We're not telling the Bitcoin price, so we need to specify what do we want.
Yeah.
Please God make Bitcoin cost 20,000 USDT in my reality. Thanks. Alright, praying is done for the day, and just to make it more effective, I want to have it 100 times done. Okay, let's see, 1,000 times done. And we can scroll down, and you can see how many times it has filled itself within 1 second. You see, those seconds don't change. It's 090909. So it's extremely fast, and this is when I started to learn programming. It was extremely fast. How does it make it so fast? And yeah, so if you have any questions, we can finish this first lesson with.
I think it will be enough for today. A lot of things to think about.
Yeah, so I think now you just understood some couple of examples, and you need your brain to adjust a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
To adjust a little bit, and then maybe after
write it down myself and to get used to these all
yeah, that
and everything.
Writing yourself is extremely important. It's actually the most important thing. So in this lesson I will just show you like the idea of coding itself. So maybe for a week or a couple of days, just think about it, right? You get used to the ideas maybe, and then maybe on the next lesson we will start that you actually write code yourself, a really small code. This maybe for you this is a really long code. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems long and complicated, but I think it'll be okay.
Yeah. So next time maybe we can try actually that you write something yourself. Let's output done. Nature done with praying for today, guys. Thanks. Okay.
Prayer executed.
Prayer executed. Okay, so let's see you guys on the next episodes of learning learning to program and praying. And on the next video, let's see whether praying or this script actually worked out fine, or maybe it worked for a couple of %.
Maybe we were too greedy.
Yeah, and I will just look at and just tell you the Bitcoin price now is oh no, let's write it on the top. So next time when we open this script, we will see what was the time.
Yeah.
Go the Bitcoin.
And then for our next lesson, we will wait while it reaches to 20,000 and
Yeah.
whatever time it takes.
Only 28 USDT, and that's a problem. That's not the problem. So anyway, we'll just save it and let's see how it looks out.
Yeah.
The Bitcoin price now is okay. Number of prayers. Oh, well, basically we don't need this information for the user, but anyway, it's just for us. So, okay, so thank you for watching and thank you for trying to understand. And maybe we'll make some awesome scripts and learn to make some awesome scripts in the next lessons.
Working scripts, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and okay, so goodbye everybody. And if you have any questions, if you have any like problems with codes, you can just write it down in comments, and I will be happy to maybe assist or answer those questions. So thank you and have a good day.